Welcome everyone to the Conscious Living Show. And this afternoon I'm speaking with Judith K. And Judith is a psychic. She's a clairvoyant tarot reader. And she's also recently produced a beautiful deck of tarot cards called the Australian Tarot Oracle. And Judith has been a regular reader at Conscious Living Expo. And she's going to be here again this year. And so I thought it would be a really good opportunity for us to have a chat and for you to share some of your background, your experiences with people. So find out a little bit more about, who it is, who's behind, and what kind of life you've had. Because you've been, you're just telling me that you've been reading for more than 50 years. And you're still inspired. And you're not only a tarot reader, but you're a professional counsellor as well. So it's really been your, a major part of your life has been dedicated to this work.
Absolutely. And I love people and I love hearing their stories, and I just love giving.
So how did you get started? What was it that propelled you into becoming a medium?
As a psychic?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was very young, I knew that I had ability. Once I got into, and I used to get into trouble for that, by the way, because back in the 60s when I was growing up, New Age wasn't around. And so I would tell my mother things that were going to happen. And, of course, we didn't have mobiles and all the gadgets we've got today. So I was in trouble for that. So it used to be hushed. I think she was a little bit frightened of it and didn't know how to react with it. When I got into my teenage years, I met a friend, a girlfriend, and we started talking and we saw the same things. We were both clairvoyants and we could see and we knew, and that gave me a bit more confidence. And then when I met my husband and married him, he said to me, look, I know you're a bit different. You know you're a bit different. He said, why don't you just go with it? And guess what? That's what I did. And I sort of started reading cards and never looked back.
So just for people who may not know the differences between the different terms, when you say you can, like a clairvoyant is someone who can see things. So can you give us an example of what that might be? Like, for example, when you were growing up, what sort of things did you see?
Okay, so I used to see faces and places. So, for example, if my auntie was coming to visit or something like that and it wasn't planned, I would see that she was arriving at the doorstep. Things like that. And then next thing, my auntie arrived at the doorstep. So things like that would happen. But if I'm trying to describe it to someone, I was always really happy when that movie came out, The Sixth Sense. And because, he would see things, and that's exactly like I see, and I'm sure a lot of other clairvoyants do, where you see something for a few seconds and then, hey, presto, it's gone. So in that few seconds, you have to capture the colour of what you've seen, who you've seen, whether it was male, female, what they had on, and as much colour and as much information in that short time as you possibly can. And I guess over the years that I've learnt to sort of be a little bit sharper with that, and so I get a little bit more from it.
And you also are a medium, aren't you? So you're able to communicate with the souls and spirits of people who have passed over.
I love it. I do. I love it. I've got my own spirit guides that I work with, and more often
do you need to work through a spirit guide to make contact with souls of people who have passed over?
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. And bear in mind that everyone's different. Like each and every one of us out there, and all the listeners that are listening at the moment, we're all individuals. Everyone's an individual. Everyone sees differently. everyone feels differently. So, you know, what I might be feeling, you, Patricia, may be feeling something different. But as you know, most of the time, more likely than enough, when someone sits with me, I pick up on them straight away, or I'll pick up on their spirit guide around them, or I'll pick up on someone that's passed over and trying to connect with them.
Yeah, so we were talking about that before, and we were. I was asking you, you know, what the value is in people coming to have a reading with yourself to get that sort of information. Like, what's the benefit for people that you see? Because you've obviously worked with thousands of people and seen so many people's lives change. So
I have worked with a lot of people, and there's different meanings for different people, but generally I feel that it gives a lot of guidance. It can also help people with how they're feeling. You know, if someone's in a grief situation, they may have lost a parent or a friend or whatever, and they're actually grieving. It gives them confirmation. It gives them a little bit of clarity that their loved one is there, their loved one is around them, that they haven't really left and the spirit lives on. And for me, that gives me tremendous satisfaction to see someone happy. And, you know, often when I'm talking to someone, because spirit always gives a message. So, and I like spirit to give me a message for that person. So that message for that person means nothing to me. It means everything to them. And that is just wonderful, you know. It doesn't have to please me, it needs to please them. And so they go away knowing that what I've pulled out of the spirit realm is relevant to them. You know, I can give you an example of that. So I was sitting with a lady one day and I said to her, oh my goodness, I don't know what it is, but I got a spirit guide around me and he tells me that there's an awful lot of cheese around and there's a lady there making the cheese. Well, she burst into tears and she said, well, that was my mother and she owned a cheese factory. Right? So that meant nothing to me, but it meant everything to her. And that was really satisfying. It was lovely to see that.
Yes. Yeah, as human beings, we are amazing people. I mean, the mystery of who we are is incredible. The fact that that would give so much satisfaction and healing to someone, just to hear those words on an emotional level, is really fascinating. Because obviously there's more to it than just the words. It's like there's a love being shared, or a communion of that love being shared across dimensions of time, and really showing that there isn't any death, that we are infinite beings. You know, we don't feel when our bodies dissolve.
No, the spirit because I feel it and I can feel, and they go, oh, I might be just seeing what you come up with, you know. So I said,
Judith, I just can't hear you at all. It's a bit crackly.
oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
I haven't moved. Is that better? Or
That's better.
now? Okay.
Yeah, it's getting a bit distorted in places, so maybe don't move anything. Just
Okay. I'm not moving.
Better.
Okay, I'm not moving.
I think there's been some gremlins today. We've already had one interview disrupted through the internet dropping out, so I think it's just a day for that. Yeah, but we'll continue.
Hopefully we'll get through.
We'll get through. Yeah, so some of the reasons why people would come and see you, what are they looking for? What are people needing?
I really feel that most of the time when people come to see me, they're looking for answers. But sometimes, and more than likely, they know their own answers. but they just need confirmation. They just need someone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
And when they, if I do a tarot spread on them, and I don't always do a tarot spread, it depends on what people want. But if I pull a card for them, usually the answer is in the card anyway. And so they, because they've been able to talk, to vent how they feel without having to burden a girlfriend or mum or whatever, they feel a lot lighter. They develop clarity while they're sitting with you, and they walk away and they feel a lot happier.
Yeah, so sometimes when you are at a point where you've got to make a choice or a change in your life or a decision, and you're wanting that, you're wanting some sort of sign to indicate that, you know, you're on the right track or you're not on the right track. I think that's when most people go to see a clairvoyant. And I wonder, you know, whether it's simply because we don't trust ourselves enough to really, you know, listen to those signs that we do have, that do come to us, that we need some kind of external confirmation of that, almost like, well, I'm not good enough to really know. I need to have someone else actually validate that.
That's actually a really good point, but I think that what that really gets back to is believing in oneself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people actually doubt themselves, and they don't believe in themselves. So I'm a great believer in helping people to believe in themselves and to believe in their own journey in life. And so by doing that and working with them, that gives them direction, you know. They've got that direction, and a lot of people now are on that spiritual path, and they're wanting to have self-reflection, they're wanting to believe in themselves, they're wanting to have a good life and for their journey to be in the right direction. And that's basically what my aim is to help a person to believe in themselves.
So do you think that what's happening now, that, I mean, there's so much depression and anxiety and stress in people's lives, that that is really bringing more people to ask more questions and seek more guidance from deeper insights and understandings than previously, when we were more engaged with, you know, living our lives, achieving what we want to achieve, raising a family, etc. It feels to me right now that there's so many people really asking a lot of questions about their future, about their purpose, and really seeking deeper meaning in life. Do you find that's happening in the people that come to see you?
Absolutely. There's a lot more awareness and there's a lot more mindfulness going on. And because New Age is so prevalent now, you know, it's really big. People want better things, and they want to escape that stress. They want to escape the depression, and they want to escape the pressures of life that they have to deal with every day. You know, it's a lot different now to what it was in the 60s and 70s. You know, it's an awful lot different, and people are under an awful lot of pressure. So they're looking for that avenue of escape. And so to go within, and I tell people, you don't have to go anywhere. You only have to believe in yourself. You only have to sit and self-reflect, and that pressure will go away, you know. And people don't understand that. A lot of people, they have to have a lot of movement around them and go places and do things, and they don't understand that really the secret of it all lies within.
Yeah, well, that's really true, isn't it? Because I do feel that we're in this amazingly exciting time of awakening of consciousness on all levels, and that is really where the power lies for creating our future. And so the role that you play, I think, is really important in being a kind of a doorway opening people to those other realms and exploring more that is it's invisible, it's not obvious, it's not in the material world, and yet it is. You gave us a beautiful example of when you saw this beautiful angel who appeared to you, that these beings are real and they're not just imagined, and that perhaps we're opening up now to be more in communication and connection and guidance with these beings. And so I just wonder, do you find that people, as a result of coming to see you, do get more in touch with other beings from other dimensions, like their guides and angels and
It
helpers?
depends on what, yeah, absolutely. Look, it depends on what level of spirituality the person is at when they come to me. But certainly after we work together, yes, there is a lot more awareness, and I help or assist people to recognize, to connect with their spirit guides. And that's really an exciting thing too, because I can have people that come to me sometimes that are spiritual, but they've never actually spoken to their spiritual guide. And they say, I really don't know how to do it. They actually admit, I really don't know how to do it. And I say to them, well, let's work through it, and then when they do finally get in touch, or their spirit guide gets in touch with them, it's really an exciting experience. That's really a belief. It's really, they can't believe it. So that's really fantastic. But when someone comes to me, first off, if they are just wanting to develop their spirituality, we focus more on the basics like breathing and meditation and visualization, just sort of on the basics, and then we sort of work on from there.
And you mentioned that you're finding that there are more men coming to see you, and there's also younger teenagers and young adults who are interested
really
in
exciting.
exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting because sort of years ago, before New Age came into effect, it was really curiosity from women that I found. It was more women that used to sort of have that curiosity, and most men would sort of bag it, say, oh, that's stupid, that's a lot of rot or whatever. But as the years have rolled on and this new age has evolved, I find that men are more aware. They're wanting to know about it as well. And they're finding that when they actually do find that spiritual awakening, that they're finding an inner peace within themselves. And interestingly enough, and I've noticed this just recently, is that I've had a lot of teenagers, both genders, that have been inquiring about, how do I learn to meditate? What can I do with this? And can you give me some light energy? So I work as a light energy healer as well. And I find that that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's so encouraging, isn't it? That everything,
Absolutely.
that things are changing, that people are becoming more open.
Yes, absolutely. It is wonderful. And then, so we've got a spectrum of that goes right through from teenage years right through to the elderly now, and it's all age groups, and it's our different sexes. It's all happening, and it's just a big awakening. And I think that people are looking for that now. They're looking for that peace. They're looking for that tranquility, and they're looking for what they can get out of it.
Yes, that's beautiful. And so just to finish up with the tarot deck that you've created, do you want to share a little bit about the tarot cards? Because they are connected to archetypes, aren't they? Psychological archetypes.
Look, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Look, basically what I did, I created an Australian pack, and I called it the Australian Tarot Oracle. Tarot meaning a playing card, and Oracle is the mystery behind the card. And the mysteries of Australia. Australia is a really beautiful place. It's very spiritual. And I don't think enough of us appreciate Australia and the openness and the vastness that we've got here. We've got the oceans, we've got the bush, we've got everything here, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I actually based the 76 cards around the mystery of that. But I also took it from the ancient history. So the actual meaning and the mystery of it all is still there. But what I've done is I've brought it to a modern day version, because what I've found is, and I've been doing cards for years, but what I've found is a lot of people used to come to me and say, I really don't understand those cards. So I've made this very simplistic. It still means the same. It's got the mystery behind it. It's still got the arcanas, minor and major arcana. It's still got the elements, you know, of the wealth and your career and your emotion and the spheres. But I've based it around the swagman, because swagman's very typical of Australia.
Yeah.
And the swagman becomes the magician, you know. The magician makes it all happen. He's magical. So they're a beautiful, beautiful set of cards that if someone who's not a reader picks them up or wants to give them for a present or something, each card has got a keyword on it, so they're very easy to read. Also, I brought numerology into it. So each card, each card except for the ace, king, queen, knight and page have got a number on them. So that becomes a number. In the spread, it becomes numbers that you add up, and that gives you a number, lucky number to work with. And and I've put 3 spreads into it, so 3 different spreads that people can follow and do for themselves. Very exciting.
Have
you sorry?
Have you got a deck handy to show? Have you got a deck handy to show us?
No,
a picture?
I have. Let me have a look here. And each card is gold leafed, so they're absolutely beautiful. Just stretching. Yeah, I'm just stretching. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see that in the camera. Where are we? Over further.
Just bring it up.
Yep, that's okay. You can see the gold leaf on it. And then you can see nice pictures. And then the swagman is there on the top. Is that it? Is that in the picture? Oh.
Just a bit further over and upright. Just to move it a bit to the right, the other way.
Yeah. So that's it? Yeah. Just about.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's the swagman, see? That's the swagman. And the Australian Tarot Oracle is written on the bottom. That's
beautiful, isn't
it? Yeah, so if you look at the card, so you know, it's got a element on it. It's got a keyword at the bottom. You look into the picture as you do with all cards, and you can see that each card has a separate meaning. And I'm not very good at this. Hold on. You can see the kangaroo jumping through the back of the picture here. Kangaroo little symbol there.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're really they are beautiful cards, and they make nice presents. And it's also got a little booklet. The little booklet tells you, it's got everything in it. It's got all the spreads and that sort of thing in it.
Yes.
So it's very, very easy for someone to learn. But likewise, for someone who wants to be a professional reader, then they can come and learn tarot, and I can teach it to them. It's pretty
fantastic.
Good. And they're Australian. Yeah. I'm an Australian author, and the cards are printed in Australia. And it's on all the mysteries of Australia, so they are purely Australian.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that analogy of the swagman, you know, being out on the road, on the land, you know, starting the journey and going from place to place. It's a beautiful image, isn't it, of freedom and connection to this beautiful land that we
And I think it's a good... Yeah, sure. And I think it's a good message for people that when you've got work and you're busy, then you put the most into it. And when you haven't, don't stress, just rest.
Yeah.
You know, this is when it's a time where you can rest your body, when you can think, you know, it's going to come. It's got to now just rest, you know. So there's big messages behind the cards, and they're very powerful. They're very powerful.
So, so people can contact you at your website, which I'm just going to put up on the screen.
Yep.
Which is
www.judithkpsychic.com.au.
There it is. Yeah. So people can contact you to book a reading, and you read for people all around the world, don't you? It's not just based in France. Yeah.
No, I do. So it's all
And
exciting.
isn't that exciting? Now we have that technology that we can link up anywhere.
Oh, look, it's fantastic. It is really fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, look, I've really enjoyed our conversation, Judith, and I'm now want to get a copy of the cards because it's a beautiful thing. So when I see you at the expo, I'll be able to get a copy.
Thank you.
So you'll be doing one-on-one readings, and people can see you at the expo, or they could contact you on the website and make a booking beforehand if they want to see you beforehand.
That would be really good if they want to do that, and I can send them a complimentary pass to come in. So yes, I will be doing readings and tarot medium and some healing if anyone wants
some healing as well.
And the cards will be on sale. Yes, I'll do some healing from a chair. I won't have a bed, but I'll do it on the chair.
Yes.
Soul healing, or hold their hands, and the cards will be on sale there as well.
Oh, it's beautiful. So if anyone's got any questions or feeling a little stressed or confused or looking for clarity, it is a perfect opportunity, isn't it, to come into a nice, loving environment and have a beautiful reading from a professional like yourself who's got so much experience. And obviously with the counselling background as well, it gives that extra layer of insight and understanding when you're talking with people. So I think that's
I absolutely love working with people, and and I'm certainly there for anyone if they do need help with anything.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Judith, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks, Patricia. I really look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for being on our show. It was a real pleasure. So bye, everyone, and we'll see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Judith. And we'll see you for our next interview, which will be with Quentin Strawley on Saturday.
Okay. Thank you very much. Look forward to it. Okay. Bye.